Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. We're in the season of baking, so there's going to be a lot of baking going on and different things that I'm making. This is going to be a coconut honey buns. Now these will be great for when you come in from midnight mass. They're also great to have for breakfast. If you have your friends over and you want to have this with coffee or tea. The children want them when they come in from school because they're all in the holiday spirits and all. This is just the thing to make. And it's different. Now you're going to need, well, I'm going to be changing mine a little bit, which you know I'm prone to do. If you have a cultured discard, I am going to be using some of that in here. So if you don't have a discard, you need 1 1/4 cups of milk warmed. Okay, not hot, warmed. Where did I put it? Oh. You're going to need a package of yeast. Using your discard, it would be 1 cup of milk and 1/4 of a cup of your discard. So that's what I'm doing right now, is my discard in here. See, my mother always made the same desserts at Christmas. And during the holidays, I pretty much like to have mine a little different. So they never know what I'm going to be doing next. It's sort of a surprise. That's why I made an American Indian turkey for Thanksgiving, so it would be different. Okay, we got the milk in that. Now, knowing that I know yeast loves sugar, I want it to really get going. So I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of sugar into this. It's all in the bowl, is what you can see. That is just my discard and milk with yeast. If you don't have a discard, you'll just have 1 1/4 cups of milk with a package of yeast, and you're going to add 1/4 of a cup of sugar. We'll let this sit a bit, and believe you me, your yeast is going to love you. Now, if you wish to use a stand-up mixer, you can. We'll let this sit a bit. Now, you have to melt 1/3 of a cup of butter. That is 5 tablespoons and 1 teaspoon. For those of you that complain I walk around, this little counter you see, where the bowl and stuff is all the work area I have, because I don't have a lot of counter space. So you're going to melt this. Where did I put the other stick? All right, Sandy, where'd you put the other stick? Huh? Didn't think about it. Well, I might have to microwave that one. So melt this butter while our yeast is sitting. Don't burn it. So I thought these would be nice and it would be different. I'm always thinking of different things I can make. With all the cookbooks I have, you should know me. I'm always going to have something going. I thought about making ginger cookies, and I ran across this instead. I said, oh, this sounds much better than ginger cookies this year. I haven't made ginger cookies in a while. I might make them anyway. I'll make them a little later. I am running out of butter. I had 10 pounds of butter, and I am only down to 2 pounds now. This butter's been so expensive, I've just bypassed it for a long time. But the holidays are coming, they usually take 50 cents off. Like, wow, I'm really gonna save some money. Now, I am going to be using some new terminologies because I'm advancing you further than just the basics that we've done. I'm going to be showing you some other tricks and stuff that work in the kitchen when you're cooking. And I'm going to help elevate you to other things that we're going to be making. Don't be afraid. You make mistakes. I am still having trouble with a bread recipe. I've made it 3 times. I'm still not happy. I'm going to do it my way. I know it'll work. So I have different levels. I haven't put them all together yet, but there's going to be one that's going to be an elevated level to where you learn these special things, like the pumpkin brandy pie that I made is elevated. You have to join a membership to get that recipe. Believe me, it is so good. I just found another one that's made with moonshine. I said, oh, that's definitely next year. But the thing is that those kind of recipes will be put for members only, and you have 2 levels. You could pay $2.99, or if you want the advanced and knowing what's going to be coming up when I do finally get everything set up, that will be for $3.99, I think. I think $3.99, $4.99. I can't remember. I want to do a chat time. I haven't figured out how to do that with everybody yet. But I'm trying to get this whole thing together, but I am not real, like I said, computer savvy. But anyway, if you want to elevate your cooking and learning these new terminologies and stuff that you probably don't know, then come join me, and they will be there. You'll be able to get some of those recipes, because the crust that you make for that pumpkin brandy is the best crust. It's a professional crust if you want to know how to do it. Because you know, in pumpkin pie or apple pie, how the crust down on the bottom is a little soggy. This one works. I am surprised it works so well. Okay, now I gotta cool this down some. It's my butter. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Some of these recipes will be elevated and they will be for members only. And some of the skills and terminologies we're going to be using, I want to bring to your attention so you can advance in your cooking as well as everybody else. And you're not stuck with the same meals and the same this and the same that. You can actually elevate. That's what my mother did. She wanted to make sure that I could cook better than her. And like I said, I made a lot of mistakes in the kitchen. Boy, have I made mistakes in the kitchen. And food has gone out, so has my husband. But we're going to be learning all of these things. But these are for members who pay. And there'll be some recipes that are very, very special that will be put at a higher level. But they're not so high. Like, I am not going to charge you $49.99 or anything like that. I keep my prices low for you, because I know the economy's bad. I know it's going to be getting better. But if you wish these tricks and things, there'll be a few things that as public you will not see, but these others you will. And if you want to learn how to do these things to elevate your cooking and different things, then please subscribe and join. I'm still working on getting this cool. Okay. We need, let's see, a half a teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to have to make some more salt. I am really running low again. Oh, God. And we're going to need an egg in this. As you can see, got the salt in it. Got the egg in it. Let's see, I got my butter here waiting to cool, and we're going to be adding flour. Because this is a bun and not a cake, I can sit there and add whole wheat flour to it. According to what I'm making will dictate if I'm going to use brewer's yeast or just flour. Okay, put those there. I don't need those now. So these are going to have a filling and a topping on them as we get these done. Now, I know that flour was cool. We're adding the butter. Okay. How much flour am I going to use? 3 to 3.5 cups. Okay. Butter goes here. That's got to warm up. So see, you could do this by a standing mixer. We're going to add another cup of all-purpose. By the way, I tasted the bread that we had put powdered Jerusalem artichoke, a tablespoon or two. Came out quite nice. Matter of fact, I made French toast with it. I actually made orange French toast. Another cup. Now, some of the recipes when I go to make cakes and stuff, they said that you should weigh your flours and stuff so you get a better cake flavor and lightness. See, when we were doing contests for, I'm just stirring this so I can talk with you. When we were doing contests at the country fair, the big thing is that it had to be as white as possible, or a chocolate cake, or a yellow cake. It had to be yellow, and it had to be light, very, very light. Not nutritionally. They weren't concerned about nutrition. It wanted the lightest texture possible you could get, and flavor. And that's why I never came in first place, because I'm always going to go in a different direction. And mine was, I started with, you could say, my little crusade of self here. I wanted to know, because I wanted my health. And when I heard the old people talk, the problems you're going to have and everything, I just sat there and said, nah, that ain't my cup of tea. I wanted to prove, and as I was getting older, when I was younger, we had a garden. My father hunted, so we had the wild game, we had the garden, we had all the good food. But when I came up here, well, actually when my mother quit canning, she started buying the canning stuff, I started noticing problems I wasn't happy with. And they were telling us that their canned goods were as good as Mom's. And that was their big thing that they would say. And I noticed in time, a lot of people were having problems. And when I got ready to have children, I wanted to make sure that they were as healthy as they could possibly be, because I said, I'm not healthy. According to everything I read, I was not healthy. But I was going to keep my health as much as possible. You know, stay as healthy as possible, as they would say. Everybody else was doing other things. That was my thing. And through my life, I made mistakes, learning. But everything I did was trying to make it more nutritious. Because I figured when I got old, that would be my telltale signs if I did something right or wrong. Well, I must have done something right. So this has been a crusade of mine. And I used my body as the experiment because I didn't want to use somebody else, and I didn't want to use animals. I wasn't going to put them through something. I figured if I mess up, I pay the consequences. Well, it seems I was on the right track. Because I see people that I grew up with, I don't believe them. I take a look at it and say, God, you know, I am right. This is true. I mean, nobody thinks about their health when they're young. Then when they get old and the damage is already done, you sit there and say, well, how can I correct it? So you go to the doctor and gives you medicine or the stuff. But it's not going to happen overnight. I have to fill the bowl up with hot water. My son even found one of my girlfriends. He's a teacher at one of the colleges he was looking into because I talked about my girlfriends. And she taught music. And we were in the band together. But anyway, that was my thing. I was oddball. Nobody believed me. It was just, I accepted it. I didn't have many friends. But I did learn a lot. I put my time in, and I'm still learning how to make things better, improve my cooking, the nutrition, and I'm sharing all of this with you. Now, am I going to make it to 120? Heaven knows. I have no idea. But they say the body is capable of living to 120 years. So, we'll see how long I go. Gee, if I lived to 120, you 20-year-olds would be 70 when I'm 120. And a lot of you older folks would already be gone. So that's my thing. And my husband knew how I felt, and we were going to make a small restaurant off the house for 15 people to come to dinner, and you just pay a flat rate for the meal, and you would know what the meal is a week ahead of time. But when we found out how many laws the metropolitan area has, and the hounding and all that they do to restaurants, I said it's not worth it. And then my younger son brought this up. My older son said, why don't you make a cookbook? I said they wouldn't know half the stuff I'm talking about. So my younger son sat there and said, this was after my husband had passed, he said, Mommy, why don't you make a YouTube channel? Because I had told him a teacher had requested me to come to the school and teach. And that's where this channel came up. It was created. I'm just kneading. That's all you're seeing me do is knead. Going back and forth like this. And I've showed you. It's a quarter turn. Put your palms in. Go like this. It will, as you do this, absorb the flours and stuff that you have on the counter. Don't you dare drop down. So I figured we'll learn a lot. And every time I cook, well, not every time, most of the time, I have you in the kitchen with me. I don't always, some things I don't show you because I have too much going. And I can't show you everything. But as I come around, I do show you. Like, I didn't think about showing you about making, having giblet gravy over biscuits, which turned out, I didn't think about showing you because I said, I was just making it because I was hungry. And my son said, did you do a video on this? They'd like to see this. I said, no. I said, I was too hungry. This is a soft dough. This is a very nice, soft, pliable dough. You're going to need another stick of butter and egg out at room temperature, so do leave it out at room temperature, because we have a filling and a topping that we have to deal with. And this will be the beginning of showing you how you make Yule logs and rolling them up, because this is going to be rolled. Though it's rolls, we start the act of learning how to do it. Like, I was cleaning out my cabinets and I found out in the kitchen, oh, I have flower cookie cutters, I have animal cutters, not cookie cutters, designs, flower designs, leaf designs, animal designs, seasonal designs. I said, I forgot I had those because they were pushed to the back. I said, oh, I gotta pull these out. Biggest thing I have a problem with is tempering chocolate. I've heard a lot of people have trouble tempering chocolate, so I don't feel pregnant in that aspect and alone. But I did something. I normally don't talk about anything other than food and nutrition, but this I'm gonna, in my life. Last week, I washed my hair. Before I washed it, I went to the store. And I said, everybody talks about mousse and this and that they put in the hair. Now, I know when you put hairspray in your hair is as stiff as a board. I mean, it's really, it feels funny when you use a hairspray, unless you use it very light. In the 50s, they did it. They were heavy with it. So I sat there and I bought mousse. I said, well, people talk about, especially my beautician, she talks about mousse and how good it is. So I decided, what the heck, I'll buy it. I washed my hair, dried it, then I put some mousse in it and designed it up to see how it would feel. It held the curl, but my hair felt so funny. And the thing was, is every time I was brushing my hair and combing it, I was getting snarls. I normally don't get snarls. I got snarls. So I had to clear those up, and I said, this is mousse. It makes my hair, and it has a funny smell to it. I don't like the smell of mousse either. And I said, I left it in for the week. It held my hair. I'm not going to lie. It did hold my hair somewhat. But the smell and the way my hair felt did not feel natural to me. I didn't like it. And I said, I thought this was like hairspray and it had rubber in it. And I said, yeah, I was right. And I don't like it. So I have a brand new can. I only used once. It's going in the trash. It'll be out of the house. I just have to go upstairs and throw it out. But I will not be using that on my hair or hairspray. Yeah, I know it's cold out there. It's really cold. It's usually not this cold yet. It's usually after Christmas, but we've got some really cold temperatures. And we got flurries. I was outside and I saw flurries. But anyway, I learned that mousse does dry the hair out. It makes it feel funny. Now look how nice that is. And we're going to let this rise. It came out beautifully. if you're putting that stuff in your hair and your hair is thinning, or your hair is breaking off, realize what you're putting in. You don't have to believe me. You can go and investigate what this stuff is. And they'll tell you byproducts of rubber, byproducts of this. But women don't want to hear that. Well, I just bring it. The attention and what you do with the information is for you to decide. I think they have another broom called out, but Boom Beauty, Boom something, and they say it's all natural. It came up once in my news feed. I went, yep, right. So I don't know. Haven't seen it since. All right, put it in, twist it to make sure it's coated, then flip it and twist it again to make sure it's coated on the other side. Cover it with a towel, put it in a warm place, and this has to double. Okay, let me move my butter over here so it'll be softer. And the egg will be room temperature for the food. Okay, part one. I have to look at it like that because you know when I start making breads, we're always in part ones and parts twos, and whatever part I can come up with, right? So we'll just, I'll make this part one and then it will be part two when we get to the next part, and we'll see how we get this put together and realize that this is the beginning of making a Yule log. These skills that we'll be doing this, so maybe next year you can make your own Yule log for your family. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.